Troy Pryor is a culture creator with his award-winning projects on the small and big screen. As the youngest person to be elected to Chicago's SAG-AFTRA Board of Directors, he continues to lead the way for the next generation of creatives through his project Creative Cypher. And next week, he's part of Columbia College's Sankofa Week. He's here to tell us all about it. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for
and
having
congratulations on all of your accolades. Talk to me a little bit about Sankofa. It's a pretty special film, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely a beautiful project that they've remastered. They've partnered with Ava DuVernay's Array to do about 50 screenings around the country. So I'm happy to be a part of 3 of those, and one of which will be a part of Sankofa Week with Columbia College next week.
And Columbia College, how did it get involved in something like this?
Well, Columbia has a robust alumni of individuals in the creative space, and it's amazing what they've been able to do. And I know the Array team is partnering with a variety of community organizations around the country, and so that's how they looped into that project. They wanted to do more than just one screening and put a whole program of events or a whole week of events together, so I'm grateful to be a part of that.
Let's talk about the film itself. We're looking at excerpts of it, and it's really, it's something everyone should see, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Timely piece, you know, as it relates to the protagonist, and I don't want to give it away for those that haven't seen it, but with the protagonists going through their journey, learning this information, you know, we think about what's going on in today's culture and education and things of that nature. It's just another way to help move us forward and continue to preach that message of all of the information that somehow is easier to digest through the entertainment.
How do we move forward if we don't know about the past?
Absolutely. You know, it's very challenging to do if you can do it at all. You know, you wind up doing the same thing, falling in the same traps over and over again.
And you're walking blindly through life, aren't you?
Well, they say there's nothing new under the sun. And so I believe that there are plenty of opportunities to avoid challenges or circumstances or situations if we just study our history, if we know where not just to avoid things, but to really understand who we are, where we come from, to know our value, how we treat one another, how we look at ourselves, to really understand that it will empower us to move forward.
Exactly. And I think that not just people who are not black, but black people really need to know this history as well, because in a lot of ways it has been erased for us. We move forward and we try to forget it, and that's in the past. But it is very important, as you said, as we move on, as we develop, because you've got to know that moving forward. How do we get people to see this movie, to learn about this movie, and to learn about our past?
Well, fortunately, this project will be screening at Columbia College next Tuesday on the 22nd. There are 2 other screenings. There'll also be one at the Gene Siskel Film Center, which I'm happy to be one of the board members there as well. That will be on Saturday.
You're a busy man.
And then there's another collaborative organization I work with, the Gary Black International Film Festival, which will be screening it as well. So you got 3 opportunities right here in the Midwest to see that project, but it is also on Netflix. So you can watch it now. But if you want to be a part of the experience, you can definitely come out to one of the live screenings.
The local film community is really coming together for the Sankofa Week, especially a gentleman named Emmanuel Noisette, who we know is trying to get the Black Panther to come back, even though Chadwick Boseman is no longer with us. Tell us how Sankofa Week is so important and what you're doing together.
Well, one of my philosophies are no one-offs allowed. Everything that we do flows into something else. Emmanuel, or E-Man, we went to college together. Shout out to University of Illinois. And so we were just talking about this, the initiative that he put forward, and it just got a lot of steam. He told me he wanted to do something in February. I said, hey man, I'm already working on a few things in February. Let's see if we can seamlessly integrate that into the week of programming. And Change.org came on board, so we're really excited about that. They're bringing in some panelists to talk about the both sides of the subject matter, and so that will also be broadcast. For those that may not be able to attend live, you'll be able to click on the link and watch that. So we're really excited about not only the conversation, but spearheading the movement to keep that conversation going, because this will be one of several conversations in a series around the subject.
Good to hear, Troy Pryor. Thank you so much. Sankofa Week includes 3 screenings of the Ava DuVernay remastering of the iconic movie, as well as lots of interesting panels and conversations, as you heard him say, about the Black experience in and on film. For more information, visit eventbrite.com and search Sankofa. It all takes place at Columbia College February 21st through the 25th. The Proud family